How was your writing retreat?
Long time around.
Awesome. Great. You got a good seat too.
Yes,
Well, it's good because I'm actually going to push everybody back. Is that okay?
how far?
Either half an hour, an hour.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, because I've got a performance at 1:30
Oh, really?
to 2:30. Yeah, once through the McPhail hour, I go to different facilities. Did 4 last week.
Really?
Good afternoon. Hello, my name is David Kazizik. I'm the Director of Music and Worship here at Hamlin Church United Methodist. And on behalf of the Music and Arts series at Hamlin Church, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this afternoon's performance of Winterreise, Winter's Journey, performed by Justin Spenner, baritone, and Dr. Carson Schneider, pianist. We're so excited that you're here. I just wanted to go through a couple of nuts and bolts of things that I need to go through as the artistic director of this series, and then I'm going to turn it over to Justin and Carson, and they're going to do a pre-concert chat with you all. Restrooms are out in the commons area or in the back down the stairs. I always like to get that out of the way first. If this is your first time coming to one of our Music and Art Series performance, welcome, and welcome to those of you watching online as well. You can learn more about the Music and Art Series by signing up for more information. We'll send you an email like once every 2 months just telling you what's coming up, so we'd encourage you to do that if you'd like. We also would appreciate a donation if you're able to do so. If not, that's okay too, but that's how we pay our performers for these things, is to collect a donation. I also wanted to draw your attention to a couple other things. So we have several other performances coming up this spring and several others of note in addition to tonight's. Our next one is on February 5th, and it's called Rondo 56, Remembering St. Paul's Black Main Street. And this is a program that was created by Dan Schneider. I don't know if you know that name or not, but he's, I think, one of the most creative people in the Twin Cities that I know. And this program is a portrait in music, stories, and archival photos of St. Paul's thriving black neighborhood in the 1940s and 50s before it was sliced down the middle to make room for Interstate 94. And it features some all-star performers, T. Michael Rambo, Thomasina Petrus, Charmin Michelle, and of course Dan Schneider. And there's a band. And then also after that performance, we have we're going to have a community conversation with people from that neighborhood, children who grew up in Rondo during the 1940s and 50s. There's going to be a talk back between the performers, between Dan Schneider and these people that grew up in that neighborhood. So we hope you'll make your way to come see that. That's February 7th at 7 p.m. And if you want more information about our other programs, you can grab the full season flyer to get more information about that. But enough about what's happening in the future, and let's get back to what's happening right now. Can we give a warm welcome to Justin and Carson?
All right, so I prepared a tight five. I'll stand up. I'm just kidding. Over stand-up routine. Hi, I'm Justin, and this is Carson, and we're very happy to be here. This will be a tight chat. Actually, I don't want to. We're not going to get. I say there's a difference between like academia and education and like just conversing and everything, and sometimes that gets confused. So we won't get too academic here. But how many people here have heard, listened, seen the Winterreise before? Oh, whoa, nice, good on you. And people who haven't seen the Winterreise, who's familiar with Franz Schubert? All right, cool, awesome. So we got a good middle ground for this whole audience and everything. That's nice. So when Winterreise was first introduced to me, it was the context that was given was that it was like Everest, that people do it to conquer it, climb it, right? You climb it and you will it and you make it your own and everything. And at the time I really bought into it. And now, like, I think back on that. I think just about the idea of conquering music in general. It kind of makes me. There's like a strange sadness that kind of. I don't know. There's like a hole, when I think about that concept. It's ridiculous. It's intangible. It's forever, right? It's something that exists to be forgotten about. Like, how many times have you heard a song and you're like, oh, this is the best song in the world, and then you can't remember the name. You can't remember the artist, you can't remember the name, and then you hear it again, you're like, oh, what is this song? Oh, it's the best thing. That's what this stuff is, right? It's forever. It's not a mountain. So now the context I'd like to take with it is if it is a mountain, the best way to use a mountain is to get lost on it. Is to remain on the side of the mountain, away from eyes, ears, throat, whatever, and to just kind of remain for a second in this bigness and smallness, and the now and the then, before and after. And so that's the context I like to take into this. And also just a reminder, and then this is going to go right into Carson's thoughts here, that this piece was not written for the concert hall. This piece was written by Schubert at his piano, hunched over with this reedy voice, I like to imagine. I mean, you've seen a picture of him. The guy had to have a little voice. Had to have a little voice. And in the throes of the end of his life, he knew it was coming. He knew that syphilis was ravaging his body, and there was all this context at the time around him. And that was how these songs were written and performed. This is how these songs were brought into the world. So that's just a neat thought that we've talked about a lot. So Carson has thoughts as well.
Hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here for my 4th time at Hamlet and my 3rd time working with Justin. One of the many things I love about working with Justin is that he's not afraid to go out of the box and even be a little unconventional. And it's just, are you going to talk about the film at all that we did during the pandemic? So my first introduction to the Winterreise, this is actually only the 2nd time I will have performed it live today. My first introduction to the Winterreise was with Justin during the pandemic. We were trying to figure out a way to perform and sort of put something together. And we didn't think that was going to be possible with a live audience, so we decided to make a film. And I had never done anything like that before, and that just really deepened my whole meaning and relationship with this piece. As Justin has alluded to, Schubert really intended this to be performed in a more intimate setting. We know from his letters that when he played this for his friends in 1827, they were dumbfounded when they first heard it, and deeply concerned for Schubert's mental health. Because this was actually the last thing that he wrote before he died. And it was unlike anything that anyone had heard in that time, really. And one of the things that I love about it as a pianist, and what keeps me coming back, is this is really one of the first instances where the piano has probably an equal voice to the singer, instead of being accompaniment. Even you'll hear accompanimental figures in the music, but the piano is either describing atmosphere, inner turmoil of the wanderer, sometimes anticipating the wanderer's thoughts, sometimes in tandem, sometimes in conflict. So it's really fun for me to kind of nerd out about that and dig deeper into that. And I don't want to spoil too much for you. There is a narrative that you'll be able to follow in the cycle. Right away, it begins with the wanderer leaving his home, leaving his beloved. We don't know what happened. Possibly the family didn't want them to be together for whatever reason. And so the cycle already starts with him about to leave home and go on this journey. So you can certainly follow the narrative, but it is also just as much about the atmosphere and the psychological state of the wanderer as it sort of deteriorates over the course of the 24 songs. And the piano goes on a journey too, but I don't want to spoil that for you, so I'm going to go and hand the mic back to Justin.
All right, this is the last bit. We mapped this out, 3 bits. And so a guy walks into a bar. No, I'm sorry. So if you've read like any of like the things, like the little blurbs for the concert and everything, the word like interactive, popped up and everything. So if you all reach underneath your seats. I got Rudy. I got him. So there's the interaction part of this, and now I'll flip over into serious Justin mode here. There's very fascinated with the idea of the audience being a participant, right? Just by showing up to a performance, we're participating in the performance, kind of thing, right? But I don't think it's fair that that's the only decision we get to make. A lot of the times, especially in recital settings, opera and everything, you sit in your seat and that's your decision, right? So we've opened this up a little bit. So we have 2 reflection stations. You can choose accordingly. There's crayons at that one, and there's markers and colored pencils at that one. It basically, the reflection stations are, if at any point you want to get out of your seat, even past needing to go to the bathroom because it's 70 minutes. If you want to get out of your seat, you want to stretch your legs, you just need to get something out. You feel something, and you need to draw, you need to write, you need to remember, right? That's what these are for. You can make that decision, and then you're participating. You're part of this with us. You're thinking we're on the same page. The text and the translations, I think there's a QR code, and they're also printed out. That gives you the narrative. I did those translations myself, so it incorporates some liberties as I'm thinking, as we think and deconstruct this more into topics of mental illness and mental health. But then also there's these screens here. So these screens here will feature both photography from Jeff Korte, who was the photographer for a film, and a production I did of Winterreise, these back in like 2017 or something like that, 2016. And then also some behind-the-scenes photos that kind of capture what we were getting at. So the screens are giving you more of an artist statement view of this, right? To think more about mental health, and so those are only giving you little bits of the poetry that we're trying to point at pretty precisely. So decide how you want to interact with this, and if it's just sitting there and enjoying this beautiful little molehill of a piece, that's beautiful. I'm glad you're here. And if you want to draw something, if you want to write, there's also memory candles. We're going to light these candles, so you can light a candle for your thoughts, for somebody you remember, something you remember. I just want to share this. This is the last thing, and I was thinking about this, going through the text again. I'm thinking about deliteralizing, the score, the ink on the page, and the poetry and the narrative and whatnot. There's a line, my favorite line in the poetry is "Will kein Gott auf Erden sein, sind wir selber Götter," which means if there are no gods on earth, then that means we are ourselves gods. Comes near the end of the piece. And it brought something up for me that I keep on coming back to. And I wrote it down as a journaling and everything, and I'm just going to share the paragraph, and then we're going to take literally 5 minutes, and we're going to come back and experience this together. So I was told when I was young enough to be told about God that the absence of belief in God means that one has to label themselves as God. This was when I was being confirmed. But if one labels themselves as God, this is a verbatim, then if one labels themselves as God, then God will damn you to eternity in hell, to suffer away from his grace. It is belief in unbelief. So that story that stuck with me, and this prompt of what drives a person to be convinced that they are unloved, is Winterreise. All right, see you in 5 minutes.
An dich hab ich gedacht. Schwaner, sie birgt den armen Flüchtling aus. Hätte es eher bemerken sollen, des Hauses auf des Stärkenschild, so hätte er nimmer suchen wollen, im Haus ein treues Frauenbild. Der finster Tränen in den Herzen, wie auf dem Dach, nur nicht so laut. Was fragen Sie nach meinem Schmerzen? Ihre Gegend ist eine reiche Braut. Der Wind spielt Tränen mit den Herzen wie auf dem Dach, nur nicht so laut. Was fragen Sie nach meinem Schmerzen? Was fragen Sie nach meinem Schmerzen? Ihre Gegend ist eine reiche Braut. Wenn meiner Schmerzen schweigen, wer satt wird von mir, so denn kein Angedenken, ich nehme mit von hier. Wenn meiner Schmerzen schweigen, wer satt wird von mir. Mein Herz Herz ist wie erfroren, Gott starrt in den Bildern, spielt's jedes Herz wieder wieder, ist auch ihr Bild dahin. Mein Herz ist wie erfroren, Gott starrt in Bildern, spielt's jedes Herz wieder wieder, ist auch ihr Bild dahin, ihr Bild dahin. Komm her. Stern, bis ich nicht mehr den Kölner See, hab mich an jedem Stein gestoßen, so eilt ich zu der Stadt hinaus. Die Krähen warfen Bären und Schluss auf meinen Hut von jenem Haus. Die Krähen warfen Bären und Schluss auf meinen Hut von jenem Haus. Wie anders hast du mich empfangen, du Stadt der Unbeständigkeit, und deinen blanken Fenstern sangen die Lärch und Nachtigall im Streit. Die runden Lindenbäume blühten, die klaren Rinnen rauschten hell, und als ein Mädchen Augen glühten, da war's geschehen und dich gesell. Und als ein Mädchen Augen glühten, da war's geschehen und dich gesell. Könnt mir den Tag in die Gedanken, möcht ich noch keine rückwärts sehen, möcht nicht die Lücke wieder wanken, von ihrem Hause stiller stehen. Kommt mir der Tag in die Gedanken, möcht ich noch einer rückwärts sehen, möcht ich zurück und wieder wanken, von ihrem Hause stiller stehen. Möcht ich zurück und wieder wanken, von ihrem Hause stiller stehen. Vor ihrem Hause stiller stehen. Des Bergstroms trockener Rinnen Ist in der Stille deinen Wohl, mit heißen Stieg Regen, ist in der Stille deinen Wohl, mit heißen Stieg Regen. Ich träumte von bunten Blumen, so wie sie vorüber im Mai. Ich träumte von grünen Wiesen, von lustigem Vogelgeschrei, von lustigem Vogelgeschrei. Und als die Hände mein Haar gebracht, da war es kalt und finster, es schrie die Rahmen vom Bach. Da war es kalt und finster, es schrie die Rahmen vom Bach. Und als die Hähne kräht, dann hat mein Herz erbach. Nun sitz ich hier alleine und denke die Klaume nach. Nun sitz ich hier alleine und denke die Klaume nach. Die Augen schließ ich wieder, noch schlägt das Herz so warm. Die Augen schließ ich wieder, noch schlägt das Herz so warm. Wann bringt ihr Blätter am Fenster? dass die Welt so liegt. Es noch die Sterne tobten, war ich so elend nicht. Ach, dass die Not so ruhig, ach, dass die Welt so liegt. Als noch die Sterne tobten, war ich so elend nicht. Von der Straße her ein Posthund liegt. Was hat es, dass es so hoch aufschlägt, mein Herz? Was hat es, dass es so hoch aufschlägt, mein Herz, mein Herz? Die Post bringt keinen Brief für dich. Was trägst du denn so wunderlich? Mein Herz, mein Herz. Die Post bringt keinen Brief für dich, mein Herz, und weil die denn so wunderlich, mein Herz, mein Herz. Nun ja, die Post kommt aus der Stadt, wo ich ein liebes Liebchen hat, mein Herz. Wo ich ein liebes Liebchen hat, mein Herz, mein Herz. Wirst wohl einmal hinübersehen und fragen, wie es dort geht, mein Herz, mein Herz. Wirst wohl einmal hinübersehen, mein Herz, und fragen, wie es dort mag gehen, mein Herz, mein Herz. dass mir so mein Jugend graut. Wie weit noch bis zu meinst du, bald aus Beute hier meinen Leib zu passen? Nun, es wird nicht weit wir gehen an dem Wanderstabe. Krähe, lass mich endlich sehen, treuer bis zum Grabe. Krähe, lass mich endlich sehen, treuer bis zum Grabe. Hier und da ist an den Bäumen manches bunte Blatt zu sehen. Und ich bleibe vor den Bäumen oftmals in Gedanken stehen. Schaue nach dem einen Blatte, häng an meiner Hoffnung dran. Spürt der Wind mit meinem Blatte, zittrig, was ich zittern kann. Mit ihm die Hoffnung an. Völlig selber mit zu Boden. Fein, auf meiner Hoffnung Lasst mich nicht ruhen in der Schumer Stunde. hat der Sturm zerrissen des Himmels klares Kleid, die Wolken wetten flattern umher in Atemstreit, umher in Atemstreit. Und roter Feuerflammen zieht zwischen ihnen hin, das nenn ich einen Morgen, so reich nach meinem Sinn. Mein Herz sieht an den Himmel, gemalt sein eigenes Bild. Es ist nichts aus der Winter, es ist nichts aus der Winter, der Winter Gott und Wild. Ein Licht trotz freundlich vor mir her. Ich folg ihm nach die kreuzend quer. Ich folg ihm gern und seh's ihm an, dass es verlor den Bandeshahn. Ach, wer wie ich so elend ist, gibt gern sich in der bunten List, die Winterreise und Nacht und Gras ihm weiß dein helles, warmes Haus. Und eine liebe Seele drin, nur Täuschung ist, wer mich gebien. Was vermeid ich denn die Wege, wo die andere Wandrer gehen? Suche mir versteckte Stiege durch verschneite Felsenhöhen. Suche mir versteckte Stiege durch verschneite Felsenhöhen, durch Felsenhöhen. Aber ja doch nichts begann, dass sich Menschen sollte scheuen, dass sich Menschen sollte scheuen, dass sich höriges Verlangen treibt mich in die Wüsteneien, treibt mich in die Wüsteneien. Eisen stehen auf den Wegen, weisen auf die Städte zu. Und ich wandere sonnermaßen, ohne Ruhe und suche Ruhe. Und ich wandere sonnermaßen, ohne Ruhe und suche Ruhe und suche Ruhe. Ein Weiser sieh ich stehen, unverrückt vor meinem Blick. Eine Straße muss ich gehen, eine Straße muss ich gehen. Göttern noch weiter, mein treuer Dante-Stab. Tempel bleibt im Himmel mir. Und sein kleiner Teller bleibt im Himmel mir. Keiner mag ihn hören, keiner sieht ihn an. Und die Hunde knurren dem alten Mann. Und lässt es gehen, alles wie es will. Kräht und seine Leiche steht im Nimmer still. Kräht und seine Leiche steht im Nimmer still. Wunderlich Alter, soll ich mit dir gehen? Wirst du meine Liebe eine Leier drehen? Thank you so much. Very, very much. I'm going to go grab a beer. Thank you. Thank you so much. Felt your energy, and this was very special. Thank you.
Thank you.